What up, Talkin Fight fans? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Friday Night Panel. Unfortunately, it's only me and Cedric tonight for the time being, so we're just gonna run you through some quick stuff about what's going on in the world of boxing. And tonight is the beginning of a huge fight weekend. We have lots of fights, lots of cards coming up, and honestly, Cedric, I'm super excited. How are you? How are you this evening? Are you just geared up?
Especially because we get to see them tonight instead of waiting a whole nother night, because there's
Right.
big fights on tonight in my hometown of Montreal. Artur
Yeah.
Beterbiev defending his title against a strong competitor and Marcus Brown.
Yes.
And there's lots of other Canadians on the card too. So
Yes. Actually, the card actually, we also featuring Maria Eve Dicaire and Cynthia Lozano fighting for the vacant International Boxing Federation World Female Super Welter title. Also, we have Yan Perlen and Francisco Rivas fighting for the vacant WBO NABO Cruiser title. So yes, this card in our hometown is looking pretty awesome. Can't wait to see this one. I'm super excited, guys. So you've got to tune in and watch this, man. It is tonight. It's underway in about an hour, I believe it is, the kickoff time, and yeah, it's going to be gearing up to be easy, man. We got Beterbiev, the Russian puncher who moved to Montreal nearly a decade ago to begin his professional career. Will finally get the chance to defend his titles in his adopted hometown. He is 16-0 with 16 KOs, boxing's only world champion with a 100% knockout rate. Will defend his WBC and IBF light heavyweight titles against the 2012 U.S. Olympian Marcus Brown tonight at the Bell Center in Montreal. Brown, who stands with a record of 24-1 with 16 knockouts, who once held an interim world title, returned to the ring in April with a 10-round decision over Denis Grichev. He lost his interim belt in August of 2019 via a technical decision to Jean Pascal, which came off the heels of his career best victory over Badou Jack. Brown, in his first bout outside the United States, hopes to stun Beterbiev, who is upwards of an 11-1 betting fave. So, guys, make sure you check this one out tonight. It should be a good one. Also, in this awesome fight night weekend, we have Louis Ritson is in the cards, man. Again, this is a big Probellum card. Can't wait to get this one underway. There's lots of people on this card as well. Cedric, I don't know if you're familiar with this card at all.
That's the UK card on Saturday, right?
Yes. Saturday, December the 18th, Louis Ritson. I can't even pronounce the guy's last name. Christian Urziqueta.
But anyway, Louis, he always puts up a great fight for the crowd. So I'm not familiar with his opponent, but I'm sure it's going to be an action-packed fight.
Definitely, yes. It should be an action-packed fight. You know the way it is, man. It's going to be an action-packed card, and it's in association with the promoter Phil Jeffries, and sees local hero Louis Ritson meet his opponent, three-weight world champion Ricky Burns, take on Emilio Dominguez as well. Unbeaten Thomas Patrick Ward face Leonardo Padilla, and plus Mark Dixon, Joe Laws, Joe Mafuza, Adam Cope, Mark Giron, Alex Farrell, Jordan Flynn, and Ewan McKenzie are all in action. Big card, guys. If you're not doing much going on during the afternoon, because I believe this is an early start time for this one. It's 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we move on to Parker Chisora. This is another 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time card. So, guys, you're going to have to pick the card you're going to want to watch. December 18th, Joseph Parker, 29-2 with 21 KOs, faces off against Derek Chisora, who's 32-11 with 23 KOs in a rematch of their 12-round war in May of 2021. You guys are not going to want to miss this one. That's for sure. It's going to be a huge battle. Also, the co-main event, I believe, is Carlos Gongora is fighting for the International Boxing Organization's World Super Middle title against Leon Richards is on that card as well. Also in action on that same card you guys are not going to want to miss, Alan Babich is on that against David Spilmont. That's going to be a great heavyweight bout, man. Babich is coming off that nasty win just not too long ago, actually. So we get to see him in action again. I'm super excited for this card, guys. So you're gonna have to pick who you want to see at the time because we got them 2 cards that are going off at the same time. Also in action tomorrow, we have feared former world champion and light heavyweight sensation Gilberto Zerdo Ramirez, who is 42-0 with 28 knockouts of Mexico. Will welcome the holiday season by taking Cuba's Uniski, the Monster Gonzalez, who's 21-3 with 17 KOs, for the WBA light heavyweight title eliminator on Saturday, December 18th, from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas. The winner of this title eliminator will secure the mandatory challenge to the WBA light heavyweight world championship, a highly desired position for the fighters that are often avoided in the highly protected light heavy division. This 12-round main event will be streamed live on DAZN, guys, so you're not going to want to miss that. In the co-main event, we have 3-time world champion Superbad Estrada, 21-0 with 8 KOs. This girl is bad. Let me tell you, she will defend her new WBA minimum weight world title in a 10-round fight against the fierce undefeated Maria Santoso, who's 9-0 with 5 KOs of Guatemala City. It's going to be great, man. I can't wait to see this. Also, we have Lamont Roach Jr., 21-1 with 9 KOs, will face off against former world champion Rene Alberto, who's 32-10 with 21 KOs in a 10-round fight for the vacant NABA Super Feather Championship. So that is another big card that's going on, guys. Also,
whoa! You gotta give us a chance to break down. I can't remember the first card you said.
There's lots to get out, man. There's lots to get out. Sorry, guys, we got guests. We got to get it out there. But yes,
all right, go ahead.
But yes, also another card going on, man. We have David Morrell Jr., who is quickly becoming the fan favorite at the Armory in his new hometown of Minneapolis, and he'll look to continue his rise up the super middleweight division by taking on the always tough Altenz Fox on December 18th. This is another good card, guys. I've been talking about this kid, David Morrell Jr., for some time. He's one of these up-and-coming prospects you definitely got to be on the lookout for. He's 5-0 right now. He's looking to take on a guy who is very skilled in the ring. Fox is 28-2-1, and this is for the WBA World Super Middle title. This is another card that is that's got a lot of prospects on it, man. A lot of guys that I have actually profiled over the year of doing my show. We also have Jose Valenzuela is in action against Austin Dooley. Valenzuela is 10-0, looking to improve to 11-0. Also, we have Alberto Pulo versus Sean Owens. And Pulo, he's 19-0, man. And, this card is filled with a bunch of these young, hungry, up-and-coming guys that I have and, that I profile on my show daily. So, guys, this is a huge fight weekend. And honestly, I'm just going to mention it. I know it's a joke, man. We got Jake Paul, Tyrone Woodley 2, 1 day, 1 hour, 36 minutes, and 58 seconds from now. So I thought I'd get that out there, man, and just let everybody know what it is. But we have a guest in the house tonight. Christian, thank you for joining us, man. Welcome to Talk and Fight, to the Friday night panel. How are you this evening, sir?
My pleasure. Well, over here, it's late at night. It's like 1:30 in the morning.
Oh, my God. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Thank you for staying up. Yeah. Nice to meet you too, Christian. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, so we got these wonderful fights coming up. Christian, are you excited for any of these big cards?
I'm going to watch for sure the Joseph Parker versus Chisora ones because I'm quite interested in Lerone Richards as well.
Right.
Like heavyweight. I really like his style of fighting. He's really technical. The main event is going to be a war for sure. And the Pro Bellum card, I didn't follow it that much, but I'm quite interested as well in the Zerdo Ramirez one because I really like the way he fights. Beterbiev as well. I think that's going to be a great matchup. Beterbiev Brown. Because Beterbiev is coming to take your head off all night long.
Yeah.
He's technical, but he's very brute. He's very strong.
Right.
And then you have Brown, who's a silky, skilled technician,
Yes.
So, but he's tough as well, very tough. And he keeps on fighting until the last minute. So that's going to be a good fight for sure.
Well, you know what? Let's talk about you since you're our guest this evening. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you do it.
Well, my I'm a pro boxer.
Yeah.
I've had 30 fights now. I turned pro in September 2015 on a week and a half notice because I didn't have an amateur background. We had.
You said you took the fight on a week and a half notice?
What?
You said you took a fight on a week and a half notice?
Yeah, my first pro fight, 10 rounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
10 rounds. First pro fight.
The story behind it, well, basically we're gonna fight my friend, my teammate. And I was still fighting unlicensed back then because we didn't have any amateurs in Malta. And I used to train exactly as my pro teammate, the same way. But then he would fight like 6, 8, 10 rounds if he doesn't knock them out, and I would fight like 4 rounds of 2 minutes. So my friend pulled out before the fight for medical reasons, and the promoter asked my coach if I would take it, and I said, yeah, why not? And it was against a guy who was a bit of a local legend, Scott Dixon. He was a Commonwealth Champion back in his days, fought for the British title and stuff. And I stepped in, and I went 10 rounds with him. So lost split decision, but yeah, ended up fighting him another couple of times as well, and won both times. So got my own back.
Nice.
Yeah,
that is pretty. I haven't heard of that. First pro fight, 10 rounds right off the bat. That shows honestly, you're in shape all the time, and to be able to keep your composure. Most people start 4 rounds and then 6 and then 8 and then 10. And you said you didn't even have much of an amateur background. That is wow. I don't know if I've heard of that much of a jump. Talk about jumping into the deep end with the strength.
Yeah.
So Christian, what were some of your influences to start training and start fighting? What age did you get into the ring at?
I started boxing and kickboxing at the same time when I was 20 years old. I was always into combat sports because when I was young, my father used to take me to martial arts training, but then I drifted away from it because I started playing football, soccer. Then started getting fed up with it when I was around 18, 19. And I had started dabbing into kickboxing and boxing in the off season to stay fit. And then one summer I was watching boxing, I remember I was watching that cartoon, Japanese anime, Street Fighter, and I said, I'm gonna try my hand at it. At first, it was just to stay in shape. Then my kickboxing coach at the time, asked me "You want to come over with us for the experience to Sicily, just to watch the fights?" I told him, "If I'm coming to fight. I'm not going to come because I had only been training like a month and a half back then."
Right.
He told me, "Okay, you can do like a semi-contact one." I told him that I don't do semi-contact, Anyway, I took I bought the tickets and everything, and I applied to fight. And a few weeks later, my boxing coach asked me. He was part of the same club as well. There's an amateur competition. Because back then there only used to be like one amateur boxing show a year or 2 tops.
Oh wow!
So there's one in October. You want to come in?
Definitely.
You want to compete? I told him, yeah, why not? So I started training in properly late June 2012. And I had my first amateur boxing fight just in mid-October. Then a couple of kickboxing fights in November, and I just kicked on from there.
So are you still actively kickboxing, or are you just boxing?
No, because that was another funny story. Anyways, I was supposed to fight a kickboxing fight, but my opponent didn't show up. So they got in another opponent, a local guy, and he told them, "But I want to box, not kickbox." And I said, "Okay, let's do it." And he was a veteran. He had been fighting for longer than I was born. So yeah, I fought him and lost a split decision with a point on on two judges' card and won the other one. And so then I said, okay, I'm going to stick to boxing because apparently I'm a bit good at it. So
that's awesome. So what are some of your influences? Who do you look up to? Any role models, coaches, or boxers that influenced you to do it?
Well, Mike Tyson, obviously. Since I was a kid, I used to love watching his fights. Me and my dad used to stay up late to watch his fights when he was doing his last comeback tour in Italy, in Europe. And then you've got, of course, I love Muhammad Ali. He's fearless. I love watching as well old fights of Sergio Martinez, the Argentinian southpaw, because he's super skilled, very skilled.
Definitely.
And then modern day ones I watch a lot of old school fights, like the black and white ones, because you can pick a lot from them because they were very, very, very skilled. The modern day ones, then of course you have to look at your Canelos, and Devin Haney is very technical as well. Gervonta Davis. I like a lot of boxers. I'm looking at boxing as my hobby. So I'm lucky to do my hobby as a job. So I invest myself in it.
Yeah, definitely. Hobby is a job, and then it's no longer work. Then it becomes fun. That's awesome. So what are some of your short-term goals? I know you're coming off a fight back in I believe it was November 11th. You came off a unanimous decision win.
Yes.
What are some of your short-term goals? Next 6 months to a year, where do you see yourself? Where do you want to be?
I want to take another fight or two for sure. Then I want to get a crack at the regional belt from one of the big four organizations. So we booked an arena on the 12th of March because I help organize shows as well. So then it depends if we get enough funds to get a title belt over here, because it costs the minimum for one of the smallest regional belts. So let's say you've got the WBC, for example, you got the Mediterranean, then you got the International Intercontinental. The Mediterranean, that would set you back 4,000 or 5,000 euros, about let's say $6,000 or $7,000. And there's not that much money in the sport over here.
Wow.
And I got a bit of a family as well. I've got a young daughter now, so I don't really want to pay out of my pocket
No, I guess not.
Fight for belts, you know?
Yeah.
What do you feel was your best training camp, and what reason? Like, some people say they like to do more running during their training camp and leading through a fight. Some people choose to swim for their cardio.
I don't like running that much. I run, but maximum I run 6 kilometers. So that's I either run 4.8 6.4. That's about 6 kilometers, is about 4 miles.
Yes.
Either run 4 miles or a bit more than 2 miles. Then I like to do a lot of high intensity body weight circuits, because when I tried lifting heavy weights, it doesn't seem that I have anything left for boxing. So I think my last camp was really good, because finally I'm learning not to overdo it and to hold back the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, you're understanding your body better, and what not to push too much and when to slow down.
Yes. And sparring as well.
I find a lot of fighters, it takes time for them to get to really know their body like that, though. Does it take time like that, Cedric?
Yeah. I mean, and everyone's different. Everyone progresses at different levels. But obviously, Christian, he just jumped right into the deep end right off the bat. No amateur career, 10 rounds off the bat. So he's used to doing that. Used to working hard.
Well, he played football, so definitely he knows how to run, right?
Yeah. Nah, that's another thing I've been developing. I'm trying to use my skills a lot more, because before I just used to want to go to war all the time. I didn't mind. I always was mindful of my defense, like keeping my guard up and try to block and punch. But now I'm thinking a lot more, setting more traps, slipping and rolling shots a lot more.
Being smarter.
Now, exactly, because now I feel like if I'm getting hit, especially with stupid shots, it's like I'm allowing the other guy to score a goal with an open goal, you know?
Exactly. The less you get hit, the longer you'll last. Your career will last, right? Yeah.
So, Christian, what do you believe separates you from all the other fighters in your division?
Well, all the other fighters, I think the best attribute that I have is my tank. Because I can keep going on for as long as you want me. As long as you want me to. I recover very quickly. I'm quite smart and I learn very quickly as well. So if you show me something, I practice it for a couple of days and I can keep doing it and I can apply it in sport. And that's something which has helped me a lot because as I told you already, I didn't have any amateur experience that much.
Right.
The semi-pro fights I used to have, unlicensed fights, they were very basic. You reach the ceiling very quickly because you face guys that like drink 3 times a week and train 3 times a week. So, but then when I turned pro and I went to London to train for the first time, I took like 10 beatings in a week, and I had to like listen, knuckle down, and work on my skills more. And then I started traveling more. I've been to.
Time out. You said you take 10 beatings a week.
10 beatings in a week, yeah, in 1 week. It's an exaggeration, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you.
I thought I was very good, but I was out of my depth.
You got a reality check.
Exactly. So then I've been on training camps in Hungary, in Sweden. I went to New York as well for 3 weeks, and I went to York in England. And then when I come back, I work on the skills I learned there and apply them in sparring. And then eventually I start applying them in fights pretty quickly as well.
What's the name of your what's the name of the team that you fight for now, or the gym that you train at?
I train at Fort Fitness.
There it is. There's the plug. Show us the shirt.
It's the biggest gym in Malta. It's good at everything. I've been there now since 2016, and I run the boxing program. I train kids. I have boxing guys as well, and I get some amateur fighters up as well. And then during the day, I do one-to-one training for boxing and boxing fitness, basically.
Interesting. How do you find that balance between making sure that you have enough time to train for your own fights, and at the same time, making enough time to still pay your bills by training other people?
Well, I'm lucky in that sense because I can do my own hours,
Yes.
So what I do usually is I wake up at 5 or 5:15 in the morning. So I have my first session at 6.
Yeah.
And if not before that, it depends on the sessions. And then I work from 7 to 11. Then I would have a break between 11 and 1:30. I have my second boxing session. I have my second session, which is usually boxing, either at 11:30 starting or 1:30. Then I continue my second part of the day, which would be between 3:30 or 4:30 till 7:30, Monday to Saturday. So I find the time. And like today, there was in Malta. There was Huey Fury. You know him?
No, I don't think so.
Huey Fury, Tyson Fury.
Sorry, yes.
Oh, Huey Fury, yes.
Yeah, sorry, it got all crackly there. I couldn't hear you, but yes, Huey Fury, yes, I know.
And his uncle, Peter Fury. And they came to see the gym last week on Saturday. So the guy who got them to Malta messaged me. He said, he asked me if I wanted to train with them, of course. And he thought, what about 8 o'clock in the morning? So I had lessons, but I just moved them and added them later in the day. So I'm quite lucky in that sense as well.
So when you went over to the UK, you trained with British legend Henry Wharton, right?
Yes.
How was that experience?
That was good. It was very good. Well, they say, that saying, never meet your heroes. It never applied to me because every good boxer that I looked up to, that I met, they were all like really, really good people. And I lived in the gym for 3 weeks, and then he drove me down from York to Stoke for the fight, which I was taking part in, and which I was training with him for. And he was a genuinely nice guy. And he came to Malta. I still call him from time to time. And I was going to move there with my wife, but then COVID got in the way, and now we have a young daughter, so I'm not really gonna move very
Right.
anytime soon.
How did COVID affect your career? It's affected so many people in so many different ways.
Again, the only thing that affected me was the notice for fights mostly because I've still had 6 fights these last 2 years. So this year and the year before, I still had 6 fights because the rules in Malta weren't that strict. The lockdowns. The only so last year I had a fight in England in March. Then we organized 2 shows with limited capacity in July and then again in October. Then this year we're gonna host an indoor event in March, but the on the Saturday and the Thursday the whole country closed down. So then we held it in a gym instead because we could still hold it with no crowds. And it's better if we didn't hold it because I ended up losing that fight anyways. but but it's experience. And I'm better for it now.
Of course.
And then we had another couple of shows with limited capacity. So the last one was 500 people, and the one before in the summer was 300 people. So I could still get out.
That's good. That's good.
It's very hard to find opponents though, because let's say, for example, England would have its own rules, Italy would have its own rules. In Malta, we have the rules that to get into the country, you have to be double vaccinated, and at least you've had to have it 2 weeks before, and certain jabs are recognized and other jabs are not. So so then you would like find a fighter from Georgia. He has his jabs, his coach has his jabs, but it's happened to us in the last show to my opponent. He had his Pfizer jabs, and his coach had the Russian jab, the Sputnik. So they came over because they never mentioned which type of jabs they had. His coach got held. He wasn't allowed in the country because the Russian vaccine is not recognized by the country.
Wow.
And so they had to send them straight back. And then at least they allowed my opponent then, because then my fight would have got cancelled.
So they allowed your opponent, but not his coach. Was he still able to fight?
Yes, because there was another opponent from Poland, of my teammate, and then his coach offered to corner him.
Interesting.
I mean, he was never going to turn down the payday anyways. So
I guess not, right?
It's true. I've been abroad 3 times, and I once the last time when I was in England, Henry Wharton cornered me. I mean, it's a very good guy to have in your corner, of course, but it wasn't my coach because my coach couldn't make it because of COVID. It was just exploding. So I wouldn't have never dreamt of turning down the fight. So
interesting.
I've read in some articles and heard that you're being called the next or the new Arturo Gatti. Have you heard that reference?
Yes, I've heard it. I've heard it.
Some big shoes to fill. Some big shoes to fill. What do you think about it?
Very big shoes to fill. He's one of my favorite fighters as well. I didn't want to mention him earlier because I didn't want to mention all the cliche fighters.
Right. But listen, it's an interview. I'm going to bring him up.
Yeah, it's. I mean, when I watch his fights, I get goosebumps because of the amount of heart he used to show. It's crazy. But then again, I know everybody says the same thing, that I have a lot of heart, and I've been through some fights that I know that a lot of people would have quit, but I would never do it, and I didn't. But then again, I also would like to think that I don't take nearly as much punches as he used to, and I would have.
Right. So if for any of the fans out there that are watching right now and who are going to watch this later on, if they don't know who you are, what fight would you say would be the best to describe your style and who you are in the ring? Which opponent would they go and watch you fight?
My last fight last summer with Scott Dixon was a good fight. My last fight this year, so it was 4 weeks ago. It showed something which I never showed before because it was very technical. I fought a guy. He was a journeyman by all means necessary. I'm not gonna say I beat the world beater, but he had been to the Olympics in 2012, and in 2012 I had started boxing, and I was managing to. So you can see the difference in experience, kind of, or years boxing, because years boxing doesn't equate good enough experience anyways. But I was managing to box with him, setting up traps and making him fall for them, and I'm really proud of that actually. So that one, I have a lot of good fights. If you just type my name in on YouTube, they're all entertaining.
Yeah, we definitely will be doing that. So Malta is the country that you're from, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Who's the best boxer to ever come out of Malta?
Nice. Right there.
Okay.
I like to think it.
All right.
Hey,
all right.
If you think it can be, right?
Exactly.
That's it,
now,
man. As long as
real quick, I know you briefly spoke on it before, but just because I don't know, I like to inquire about the boxing scene in different countries. So can you just from the amateur level, how is the amateur scene in Malta, and then
right now the amateurs is getting bigger because there's a guy called Patrick Shearer, and he's Maltese Australian, and he wants to see amateur boxing grow in Malta, and he's very well to do. He's a very successful businessman, and he's investing in it. So the amateurs are the small guys, like the teenagers, 14, 15, 13. They have the opportunities to go into training camp, and they're fully paid by the federation and by the
fully paid. The athletes are fully paid.
No, not the athletes.
The amateur training.
The training camp.
Okay.
So the flights and the accommodation, then they just have to take their spending money with them.
Okay.
And because when I started 10 years ago, there was only my coach, Steve Martin, Scott Dixon, and maybe another guy or two who had been abroad to train and fight. So there wasn't that level of experience gotten from proper lineage,
Yeah.
From people who know what boxing is. And now, as pros, there's a guy. Let me rephrase that. The best guy currently, the most successful guy to come out of Malta is Hatem Lamuz, because he's been in Australia and he's won regional titles in Australia. He spent 2 or 3 years there training, and he's won some good regional titles, the ones which I aspire to win, and more, because I want to become at least European champion before I retire. So that's my long-term goal. Nice. And but yeah, so there's him, Hatem Lamuz, me. I've traveled a lot as well. Hatem had a good amateur career. He's been around Europe training. as well, apart from Australia. And right now he's in the USA. He's in Savannah. I don't know where that is exactly. Somewhere in the south. Savannah,
Georgia, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. He's training there. So
okay.
there's
Atlanta.
There's my coach Steve, and so basically there's a lot of fighters who've been abroad training and have experience now. So the younger guys, they have better coaching. They're getting them up. And if there's anything to say about the Maltese, that we're hard workers and we have heart. So I can see like my little cousin, my cousin's son actually. He's 15, and the hand speed he has and technique is unbelievable. When I started training, he wanted to come train as well, and so now he's been training since he's been 6 years old, and he's been to Poland on training camps. He's been to Italy, so you will start seeing some well-schooled fighters coming out of Malta for sure.
You guys have been biding your time, just waiting, to unleash all of Malta onto the world of boxing, right?
Yeah, and now they're having more competitions as well.
Right.
So like they're having at least 6 or 7 competitions a year. So
really the boxing game in Malta has really picked up over the last couple of years.
Oh, it is. I'm like, if it's not the biggest sport, but it's either the second or the third biggest. Nice. Even like I had a fight against another local guy. Who was there were 3,000 people who came out to watch us, and the whole country is like 500,000. It was in 2018. It was the most spectated sport on the island.
Wow.
So yeah, it exploded quite a lot.
So with that now, you guys being like more of a boxing mecca than you were before, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced early in your career in boxing in Malta?
Well, financially is the main thing, because until you start making a bit more money from the fights and until you get some good sponsors, it's even harder, because I used to work at the post office back then, so I used to have to work full-time hours, 40 hours a week, plus part-time job in the evening on Saturday. And then I used to train twice a day from Monday to Saturday as well. So it was hard. Then I started coaching a little bit, beginners and for fitness, like fitness guys.
Yeah.
But I still used to have like wake up at 3:30 or go to the gym, go to work, go to the gym again, train myself, then train other people in the evening. So it was a slog. And apart from personal finances like that, because then the money you're making from your job, you have to, and the little money you make from boxing, you're investing it back in boxing.
Yeah.
The other thing would be the lack of finances involved in boxing in general. You know the small hall shows in the UK.
Mm-hmm.
And in the USA as well, which are not televised, which are not on big television, like
there's tons of them. There's tons of them around the world that go on that we don't get to see. It's unfortunate, but yes.
Exactly. So the fighters many times have to finance their opponent through ticket sales. Right. And when you have to finance your opponent through ticket sales, like I do presently as well, it's hard to get a certain level of opponents, because there's only so much tickets you can sell,
Right.
I mean, I've sold about 5,000. I sell on average 4,000 euros worth of tickets every fight, and 5,000. And out of that, then I take my commission, and I'm like the biggest or the second biggest ticket seller on the island. And there's still that so much that the opponent can take from his money to get a good enough opponent for you on the night. So that's another challenge which I still face today. So when I want to take my bigger fights, then all the time I go abroad and I'm the away guy.
Yeah, which sucks, but it makes the money. It's the way you got to make the money.
Well, it is what it is. It's boxing.
It's boxing. Where would you like to see, or what do you think needs to happen to boxing in Malta to be where you believe it should be?
They need to invest. They need to invest more in the amateurs,
Okay.
so that they get proper schooling. They need to travel. They need to go to more regional competitions in Europe, so that they get more experience from other fighters and sparring. You cannot just stick them to the Euros or the Worlds just like that and expect some success to come out of it.
Yeah, it starts from the ground up. The kids, they got to get the juniors involved at the international level. Not wait until
nobody's born running, you know.
Exactly.
Everybody starts crawling, then walking. And another thing which needs to be done, there needs to be more amateur boxing competitions over here. But again, there's a limited amount of boxers, and at the moment, it's hard to get people on the island again because they have to be vaccinated.
Right.
And under 16s in most countries, they're not vaccinated, so they cannot come in. And there needs to be at least a standardized approach to coaching, because right now there's no test that you have to pass to become a coach. So
anybody can just be in the corner.
Sorry,
anybody could just be in the corner. They don't
as long as he pays like $50, $60, yes, basically.
You can pay your way into the corner, yes.
And everybody can open up his own gym, his own boxing gym. You cannot really stop that, because if you want to open up a gym and hang punching bags and say you're a boxing coach, you can't do it. But I believe there should be a good test set up by a good coach. If not even from the island, let's say you bring in someone from Italy, from the UK, to show how things need to be done. And if the coach is applying for the license cannot throw a proper jab, cannot throw a proper left hook, then listen, I'm sorry, you cannot be in the corner.
Makes sense. Yeah, you can't even demonstrate it, but you want to tell somebody else how to go and win a fight.
Exactly. I've known guys that spent a year hanging around in the gym. Then the coach needed someone to hold the pads. They weren't even training themselves. The coach needed someone to hold the pads. Then after a year, he decides to open up his own gym because he has a little bit of money.
Wow.
Then after a few months, you start getting people up for fights, and then you see kids and like young men go like boom, 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 boom. You're like, come on, he's getting tired. Keep going forward. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm so sorry. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not getting tired. He's getting fucking brain damage.
Yeah. I get it fully. So you mentor kids now. You've got some amateur fighters that you're coaching and stuff. How did you get into that? And how did you fall into that while still training? Because that's got to be hard.
Before it used to be hard as well, because it used to be harder because I used to get amateurs on the undercard, on the same card that I'm fighting. So having to coach and fight at the same night, it's hard. So I don't do that anymore because you don't get proper time to concentrate on yourself. I mean, you have to make time for it, you know. I started only coaching for fitness to make some extra money.
Right.
Because at the post office, I only used to make the equivalent of like $1,000 a month, and it doesn't get you that far on the island.
Right.
But then when you start, I always like to teach proper boxing, the way I knew and the way I know now. Not just let people hit the bags for fun, because like if you train with me and you're hitting the bag like a spastic, it's a bad advert for me as well, you know, and it's a bad look for you. So even if you're doing it for fitness, I'm still gonna teach you how to step into the jab, how to turn into the cross, you know.
Right.
And then some people started asking me, listen, can I spar? Can I spar? So I said, yeah, get some headgear and the mouthpiece. Why not? I'll move around with you and stuff. And then they just start getting more interested. Can I fight? Sure, I'll give you a fight.
So you almost like kind of stumbled into it. You started off just doing it for money, and then it just kind of accumulated from there, and now you have your own fighters that you represent.
Exactly, but I don't have that many fighters though, because the gym that I am in, it's a fitness gym predominantly, and I take care of the boxing area, and I have boxing classes every day, and then I have some boxing fitness classes as well. But I maybe have like a couple of fighters here and there, or two, three. Sometimes I have four at a time, and then so I take them sparring in other gyms and stuff like that. But in the future, I want to have my own boxing gym as well, like a small one where you have some bags and the boxing ring, so that I can concentrate more on bringing up amateurs because that's my passion.
Right.
Apart from fighting myself, I like watching and helping other fighters.
Right. So when you're ready to retire and hang it up, and
yeah,
and
not anytime soon.
You're just you're just gonna continue, not anytime soon, but when you're ready to retire and hang it up, you're gonna stick with coaching and
yeah, for
pretty
sure.
much mentor a whole new era of Maltese boxers.
I mean, as long as it's always financially viable, I will always do it.
Right.
But I'm trying to get into some other things as well, just so that I can dedicate more to more time to amateur boxers. Start giving them longer classes so they can work on different drills daily, which will make them better boxers.
About the coaching, how because you mentioned before, of course, you notice how other coaches don't really have the experience, but try to train fighters as if they do have the experience. How did you pick your coach, and how obviously after you're done fighting, you're going to want to open your own gym and do your own thing too. So how, for any up and coming coaches, how do you, what suggestions would you have for them as far as getting knowledge? And how did you pick your coach too, to make sure you got the right one?
I kind of stumbled into my coach because my sister, she used to kickbox at the gym that I went to, and I went there because my sister used to go there. And I was lucky that the gym I went to, they taught proper technique, tried to teach proper technique both in kickboxing and boxing. And the younger coach, he was still fighting, and he used to make us, he still is, he used to make us train like a proper fighter. And he was training with Scott Dixon, the guy I fought for my first pro fight, who had been boxing in Britain for a very long time before he moved to Malta. So he had a good way of teaching, and so I kind of got it from that as well. I was at university as well. I'm studying physical education, so that helps a lot with the way how to interact with people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And if I have any advice for any up and coming fighters,
yes,
on how to choose their coach, it would be to go to someone who knows their stuff, because it's not an easy game at the end of the day. Yes, it's gloves. Yes, in amateurs it's more point scoring, but it still is punching. And two, the advice I would give to coaches, to even up and coming coaches, I am an up and coming coach, is to always be open minded and try to soak in as much information as possible. Because you might think you might think that you're learning something which you're not going to use, or this is something that's useless, but then you end up in a situation, you say, that guy that day told me to do this and this, and it applies now.
Yeah.
That's it's a great story, man. I love it. You're a coach. You're mentoring these young kids, man. You're trying to help get Malta off the off the ground and up in this boxing world, and it's great, man. You've done a lot for the sport already in your country, And we can't wait to see you in the ring again. When do you think that's going to happen?
12th March, the latest, maybe earlier. I don't know. It depends if something worthwhile comes up from abroad, then I will take it. But if not, I'll fight on the 12th of March show that we're organizing over here in Malta. And we'll see from there.
Yeah. One last question. I don't want to keep you too long because I know it's late in the morning over there, man. I know it's probably like almost 2. But well, you want to be loved or you want to be feared in your career? What do you want to be known?
Loved or feared?
Yeah, loved or feared.
Feared by my opponents, loved by the fans.
Great answer. Great answer. Love it. Love it. Stick around. We're just going to sign off here, man. We're at that hour mark. What a great interview. Thank you for joining us. Knuckle Up fans and Talkin' Fight fans around the world, thanks for tuning in to this wonderful Friday night panel with myself and Cedric Ben and our wonderful Maltese pro, Christian, coming through for the interview. Thank you again for taking the time out of your busy schedule, man. I know it's late in the morning there. So honestly, just thank you from all of us here at Talkin' Fight for joining us. We definitely love to have you back again to talk. Hopefully after your... Yeah, definitely. We'll let you know. Any up and coming fighters that you know that you want us to know about, just let us know, and we'll provide time for them to get on here so we can get them out there to the world, just like we're getting you out to the world now.
And we have a Sunday show called Knockout of the Week, so hopefully you'll get on there. And
hopefully we get to see you on the Knockout of the Week. But yes, Talkin' Fight fans, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Friday Night Panel. Yes, what a wonderful guest we had this evening. Thank you. Guys, you know what it is, man. We're doing Watch It Live, Talkin' Fight tomorrow. We'll let you know what fight we'll be watching. And don't forget to tune in Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our Knuckle Up Knockout of the Week. You know what it is, man. Different day, different knockout. You're don't want to miss that, man.
Christian, give out your social media if anybody wants to follow you.
Yeah, man. Plug your social media right now. Let everybody know where they can reach you and find you.
Yes, I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook as well. Instagram is my nickname, and followed by Christian. And Facebook, I'm just Christian Coqqos Schembri, which is my nickname. So awesome. They can follow me over there.
So yeah, that's it. You've heard it here, guys. This is where you can follow Christian. One last question before I sign off, because I forgot to ask it. How'd you get the nickname?
It's my family nickname.
It's a family nickname?
Yeah, I come from a family of fighters, not in the ring though. Really crazy guys in my family.
Okay. Yes, stick around for a minute, Christian. We're just gonna sign off. Thanks for tuning in, Talkin' Fight fans. You know what it is, man. We'll see you next week, same time, same channel, different topics. We'll see you then.